co-founder of Mind Nudger AI. And today I'm with the lovely Daniel Fincham, who is the CEO of Recoverlution. And he's also the founder of Recoverlution. Now, I'm going to hand over to Daniel to start today off. But today really is about going through Recoverlution, helping you understand all about it, the AI, how it all works, and really how, if you like, the middleman and people who are supporting people in recovery globally can really help to speed up, scale, and sustain recovery in the AI world. So on that note, over to you, Daniel, to the expert.
And thank you, Fee, and nice to be here, and thank you for everybody that's joined. Do you want us to flick to the next page?
I certainly can. I shall be your gopher. I shall be your gopher.
Yes, I need I think, yes. So my name's Daniel Fincham. I haven't put that on the slide, so apologies. But yeah, I founded Recoverlution back in 2020, 6 weeks into my recovery. I would say I fit the bill for most of the cliches of people that suffer with addiction. I've had it all. I've lost it all. I've been through divorce. I've lost all my money. I've been kicked out of home. I've been to prison. And it was really having come out of prison the second time, having lost it all, that I had nothing left to lose. I had nothing left to fear. And that's probably the most freeing thing. That's more freeing than coming out of prison, I can tell you that. And that released the thoughts, this washing machine in my brain that was just constant and debilitating. And it gave me a chance. And in that window, I wanted to get well. So I started Googling everything because I could not find a place that would give me all the information to get well. So I started Googling yoga, meditation, exercise. I picked up my guitar. I started reading around Buddhism and all sorts of things. You know, I started to watch movies in the present. I started to engage. You know, I was just there. I was living for the first time in my 36 years on this planet. And I've got a background in technology. I've worked at a big SaaS company, supporting teams across UK, Copenhagen and Boston. And really, I put two and two together and I wanted to build a platform for recovery. And at the time, I just wanted to give people the information that I was searching for. And it was really when I met the recovery community online, because COVID had forced us online, that I saw fellowship groups and basically anything that was going on in recovery being cobbled together with Zoom accounts and WhatsApps, which was supposed, you know, people were saying, oh, you know, you're joining an anonymous meeting and people are saying, right, put your name and your phone number into this group and we'll add you to a WhatsApp group. And immediately I was like, wow, this is aggressive. You know, this can't be right. This isn't a platform for, this isn't how recovery should be done. And I had loads of wellness apps and things. I was really, you know, I'd fixed my diet and I was doing all I could to charge myself up. So I thought, well, let's bring content, community and wellness together in a dedicated platform. And that's really where Recoverlution was born 6 weeks into my own recovery. And I went out and I got an investor who believed in what we were doing. And we launched in 2022 to the recovery world, to really try and give people in recovery a home. And it was about 6 months into that I realized, well, you've got people in recovery, but you've got the supporting ecosystem that needs to be digitalized. And that, you know, they're probably living in a more fragmented and more disconnected world. And thus we've started to build out Recoverlution Spaces, which is a framework for any recovery community organization, any rehab, any service provider to get set up onto our platform with almost like a micro site where they can get access to our community can find them, they can manage groups, they can create events, they can onboard people into care, they can message out to their people without needing a phone number or an email, they get insights into their behavior, and they can basically we can for once be on one universal technology, because that's the only way that, you know, we can all grow together. And it was then when I met Fee at Mind Nudger where we were thinking, well, there's just not enough people, time, resource, budget in the world that's going to solve this problem. The more people I talked to, the more pain I could feel. And I was very skeptical about AI, I must be honest, because, you know, it was a buzzword, you know, you're reading a lot in the press about it. But it was when I was actually understanding what it could do that it really started to excite me. And when we started to prove out its value, this is how anybody delivering anything in recovery can scale themselves. Be it a therapist could break themselves down digitally and not be confined to 1 hour's time. They can deliver their care 24/7. And this is where the transformational change comes. And this is what we're going to talk through today. So this is only my experience, but what I have seen in the 4 years that I've been working in recovery, you know, and we all know that recovery is a lifelong process, and most people will go through a treatment period. I've been to 2 rehabs, and they were great while I was there. It was when I had to go back to the real world where, you know, I ran into issues, and, you know, I don't want anybody else to end up in prison like I did. So we can't rely on periodic treatment and reactive approaches. You know, they are very costly, they're time consuming, and it's very hard to get data on it because I don't think many people want to actually present how effective you know, these treatment processes are. So there currently is no way to address this at scale, whether that's getting money from the government, whether that's trying to look at aftercare through, you know, post treatment, whether that's peer recovery and how we get that. And I'm not just talking about fellowship and smart recovery groups. I'm talking about your knitting group, your walking group, your running club. How do we bring all that together, you know, into a peer hub where anybody can build their recovery capital based on what they're passionate about and what they believe in. Because recovery is so unique to the individual, the only way to tailor a recovery program is to actually understand, learn, and work with the individual in real time. A lot of us are neurodiverse. A lot of us learn, you know, different ways. There is no one fits all model for probably anything in life, but specifically recovery. And this is where the AI comes in. Next slide, please.
Sorry.
One thing I will say is I'm not going to stop for questions just because we're a bit time constrained. But if you've got any questions, please pop them into the messenger. Fee will keep an eye on them, and we'll save a few minutes at the end, and we'll get to as many questions as we can. And if there's any remaining, I will put them into an email and follow up. So if you've not already seen Recoverlution online, just go to recoverlution.com. But essentially, we are a 24/7 platform available to anybody, anywhere, anytime in recovery. We are fully anonymous. We are free to anyone. We do not advertise, and we will maintain that for life. The way that we pillar our platform is through knowledge. So we've got hundreds of pieces of recovery-based content that we've written with our content writers that give hope to anybody in recovery, whether you're in the discovery phase of recovery or whether you're 10 years in recovery. It could be, you know, you're looking at emotion, love, sleep, whatever that might be. You know, we want to give you some ideas. We want to give you some insight into, you know, into how you can progress as a human being. But the real core is like our community. So when you log into our platform, all you need is a profile name and an email address, and we anonymize that straight away. Nobody knows who you are. If you want to use your name, that's great, because people can find you. If you don't, you could do Joe Blogs. It really doesn't matter, because most of our interaction comes in the groups. So any group, any organization can start a group which will give you a messenger, will allow you to online meetings, it will allow you to schedule events, it will allow you to host resources, start discussions. If you want them to be private, like an aftercare group, you can keep them private. If you want them to be found, we'll aggregate them all, just like Meetup, which is a key thing that WhatsApp does. I mean, there's loads of reasons not to use WhatsApp, but you know, you can't find a WhatsApp group. You know, any group on our platform, anybody in the world can find it, which is great for someone like me living in the sticks in the Northwest. Very hard to go out and find people in recovery. So how do we monetize this platform? Well, we've got a dedicated to addiction wellness hub. You don't have to subscribe. Only about 20% of our members do. It's £6 a month, and it It comprises programs in nutrition, exercise, breath work, meditation, yoga. You can create playlists. You can schedule morning meditation. It's unbelievable. We've worked with some of the best professionals in the world to create this content, and we take you through them in programs. So we don't just tell you to do them. We explain why we think they're valuable. So that's what we went to market with. And then later this year, we launched Recoverlution Spaces. And given we're on a LinkedIn Live, think of a space as a LinkedIn business page. Any organization it's all self-service, can get set up as quickly as you could a LinkedIn business page, and you can brand it up. It's like a microsite. You can brand it up, you can create groups, you can create events, you can start discussions. So it's like an elevated version of our groups. Also in the platform, we've got things like, recovery tools, your My Spiritual Tool app stuff. We've integrated that. We've got the Hub of Hope where you can find any service in your local area. So the idea is that if you're looking for anything in recovery, Recoverlution is the place to start. Not the place that will get you well, it's the place to start. The people on this call are the people that keep people well. We want to signpost them to the service that's going to get them well. So that's all well and good, but how do we really make a difference digitally? Recoverlution is not going to save anybody's life, no chance. But if you had something that would work with you day in, day out, minute by minute, start to learn, understand who you are, to drive this proven positive change, this is where the AI comes in. It's not a crisis point solution. If you were like me and you were shaking in the morning and your stomach lining was coming up, you probably need to go into I needed to go into care. But I asked myself, if I'd found this years before, would this have saved all the pain and hurt that I ultimately ended up delivering? Yeah, there's a good chance of that. And when I came out of that care, would this have helped me? Would this have helped me not relapse, end up in whatever? Yeah, there's a good chance of that. And this is where this is so powerful, because nobody can be available 24/7. We all need people. This is not to remove the need for people. This is to help the people that are helping people be better at what they do.
Sorry, can I just stop you, Daniel? Daniel, you've got a funny sound there. Got dodgy old sound. Yeah.
Sorry.
Take two or shower the mic.
Okay, is it any better now?
Much better.
Okay.
People will be thanking me for that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and
sorry about that.
Then please let me know. So
I didn't want to interrupt. Go on.
So what we're delivering now with the help of Mind Nudger is we're becoming this universal technology that we're completely agnostic, right? We don't believe in one way of recovery. There are endless ways, and I meet so many people doing so many wonderful things that it inspires me day by day that actually, I only knew about 1% what was available to me when I was really in the madness. And I thought that was a GP or a rehab. That's the tip of the iceberg. What we're evolving to deliver is this patient engagement management, but also to deliver that round the clock with this AI-driven tailored recovery. So how do we do that? And I think I'm on course with time here, Fee, because we're only about 14 minutes.
You want me to move on a slide? Shall I move on?
Yes, please. Yeah.
There you go, Z's.
So we've called it our Recovery AI Navigator, and it allows us to speed up, scale, and sustain recovery, delivering actionable insights and demonstrable ROI every step of the way. Now, Fee, you're really good at talking to this, so I don't know if you want to add anything to this part.
Yeah, so I haven't seen the next slide actually, so I don't want to go talking about the next slide or anything like that, or stepping on your toes. But basically, in the world of recovery or development of change of any type, mindset, behavior change, habit change, one of the most important things is respecting and understanding how to change the paradigm to make it work successfully not in a linear world, but in an exponentially changing world, because that's just the fact, that's the environment we're in. So we need to design things like this Recovery AI Navigator that is very, very much designed with the right methodology and AI tools. And then, of course, what's around it is the platform to be able to sort of literally speed up, which is really accelerated transformation. So scale, because without scale, you're not solving the problem. So if you're, let's say you've got a rehab, and again, I'm not the expert in the subject, but it's the same principle. If you're dealing with a lot of people, one therapist, for example, has 40 hours in a week if they're lucky. And that's if they're lucky, because of everything else that goes around that. That is not sustainable. It's not scalable. So we must get that right in order to fix the problem on a larger scale. So if we're dealing with a lot of people, we need to blend different services in, even if we have a one service offering. And that goes for one therapist, or it goes for a whole rehab. So this is really what we've built. It has been 4 years in the building. Everything's 4 years in here today, isn't it? Have you noticed? It's not surprisingly, the common denominator was COVID, but the methodology that's used, EPIC, which we won't go into now, but that was since 2012. So that's a lot of validation on about 35,000 people. Whereas it's brought into the technology and the AI models by Mike Hassani and team, that really has been 4 years in the making. So what we've ended up with is the Recovery Navigator, AI Navigator with Daniel. So shall I move on?
Yeah, please. Yeah. And so just to be clear as well, we worked with therapists, down in Harley Street in London, to conceptualize, to run case studies to prove this out. And this is a bit the scientific bit. So how do we do it? How do we build and curate an experience that's individual and understanding and works and progresses with each individual? So each participant has a personalized controlled assessment environment. So we're going to call that CAE for now, based on a neuroscience model that assesses their use of specific concept, skills, and abilities. So, like I say, people learn in different ways. So the model can understand how this individual will best learn, what they respond to the best, and they will validate that by constantly prompting, nudging, validating, asking questions to confirm if it understands the individual correctly. So then the AI creates an individual profile by analyzing these concept, skills, and abilities to form this concept pyramid. So this will sort of form a pyramid, and it will recognize the blocks that they need, that the AI needs to focus on most. So then it will guide through interventions, improve these specific concept, skills, and abilities through. It's quite fun. So like micro blocks, bite-sized training, mind nudges, video animations, diagrams, games, audio vibes. It could be peer-led groups, live micro facilitation. So it's constantly working out the best way to help develop this individual, because addiction for me is in the mind. So if I changed the way that I thought about myself, the world, and everything a long time ago, I wouldn't have needed to pacify myself. I wouldn't have needed to to take myself so deep and despise myself so much, because now I see the world. I've reframed how I think, and that took time in a rehabilitation centres, time talking to therapists, and I still work with these individuals. But it takes a long, long time. I'm speaking to a therapist once a week. If we can accelerate that by challenging my thought process on a, as and when, we're responding, this really accelerates the program. So then we're going to assess that concept pyramids, the SCSAs, the mind nudges, the CAEs. We're going to assess the accuracy, the engagement, and the effectiveness in this continuous learning, which is where the power of AI comes, because it's not fitting you into a paradigm or a model. It's learning from you, and it's working it out, and it's feeding that in, and it's helping the collective learn, and it just learns at an incredible rate of speed. So then after we collect the data, the AI can start to uncover the correlations, recognize these patterns, refine the analysis for more accurate results. And not only can it start to help the individual, but if you're working with a mentor, if you're working with a recovery coach, if you're working with a therapist, it can start to provide that data to that individual so that when they actually meet again, you're taking out that first 15 minutes or that first 30 minutes to understand what's going on in that week, because you already know the AI done it. And this is where it starts to save time, it starts to improve the results, and it starts to move the needle. So that's, in a nutshell, how what goes on behind the scenes. And then if we go on to the next page, what are the benefits?
Oh, before you do the benefits, can I just just make one note about the mind nudging? I think with the mind nudging, Daniel, like you say, because you were speaking about the blend, and blend is really, really important here because of the neurodiversity of, well, everyone on the planet, really. But one thing that's really important about mind nudging is it's like doing cognitive behavior therapy on steroids, really. I know that isn't like, that's one way of putting it, but it's on, speeds it up. So what it's doing is it's taking that work and it's reframing people's thinking. It's cognitively reframing or restructuring thinking ongoing. And the thing is, that leaves the therapist to do higher level work. So the human augments the work to accelerate it and to scale it. They're augmenting it together. So they're using the AI to do the sort of cognitive behavior change, and then they're doing the higher level change with one-to-ones or whatever it may be. Anyway, that was my point. Sorry, carry on.
No, that's great. So I think the bottom line is, this is, again, I can't emphasize this enough. I think there's, sometimes people think of AI as replacing human beings. This is completely the opposite. This is intertwined. This is augmented. This blends together. This is to digitalize what addiction professionals, what addiction services are offering in a way that's personalized and available 24/7. The way that, so at a top level, we're doing gamified learning, so daily nudges, mind blocks, videos, but this is geared towards transformational behavioral change, the way that we think. But we're also bringing together people. So as you go into the navigator, it will put you into a tribe. It will put you into peer learning. It will prompt the group to start conversations. And if you make a response, it's a really clever thing. When you put a response, you can actually say what your intention is. So is your intention to inform, to criticize? And so it becomes really constructive in these peer learning groups. Like, peer recovery is like number one. We know that, right? If you're the sum of all your parts, you need to be around people. But these are people that you can converse with who are at the same stage or looking to change or address a certain thing. And once you get past your dependency, maybe you want to go into trauma, you want to go into anxiety, you want to go into emotion, go into love. So then you can join another tribe, and it will continue to evolve with you. So then the multifaceted changes, they're the more personal things where you get the interactions, the responsive, the answers that are concise for you. And this is where your concept pyramid continues to progress, it continues to fill up, and it continues to cement. And then we are looking at, we are looking at 360-degree behavioral and metaphysical changes, so we can start making recommendations if it looks like, you need a therapist or a recovery coach, or you might want to start doing some exercise, or you might want to look at your diet. It will start to sort of nudge you in that direction because it can start to understand who you are. So it's really, really clever, but it's really, really personal. And the more blended you put with the professional, the stronger that this becomes. So it sort of becomes win-win. So we'll go to the next slide because we're just coming towards the end now. So appreciate everyone for hanging on. So where do we see the benefits? This is experimental transformational change. This is a journey. And like I say, it blends and curates a lifelong journey tailored to each individual's learning style, ensuring effective action and growth through a neurodiverse approach. So that's the important thing, is that, you know, this appreciates that everybody learns and thinks differently. I'm autistic. I only found out a couple of years ago. So I see things black and white, and you know, this AI would work with me in a slightly different way, because I would need things to be quite clear cut. So yeah, it's personalized cognitive therapy. Therapy alone doesn't create change. You know, you can be told the theory, and the first rehab I went to was CBT. I got the theory, but I was told about this toolkit. I kept asking where the toolkit was. I relapsed after 6 weeks. So it's the mind nudging that guides each individual on a personal centered journey to achieve, you know, this transformational cognitive change. It's also looking at your physical health, your emotional well-being. So it's raising your self-awareness on a mass scale to provide you with techniques, structures. So it's giving you techniques, giving you structures, giving you strategies to regulate your emotional intelligence. And above all of this, this becomes fully scalable, measurable change. Measure this. So it augments professionals' time and delivery, accelerates change, deepens engagement, and adds significant, this is big, this will add significant value to the care that you're providing.
So can I just add something there about the focusing in on the really how we partner with things like rehabs or therapists? Speak to that just before the session ends, Daniel, in terms of how we partner, and you know, the benefits we're adding obviously in the first hand is to the partners, isn't it? So talk to that just a little bit more.
Yeah, so we are the sort of, like, I guess, the technology. So we can put this into the hands of any organization, any professional, so that they can integrate it into the care that they deliver. And so then we can start, you know, we will onboard you. It's like I say, we're a technology, so we're very user-friendly, self-service. And then the organization or the professional can start to distribute that to the people in their care. And then it's really, we want you to manage it. So you can put them into tribes, you can get the analytics, you can start to tailor. So this is sort of phase 2, but you might want to break down your treatment program into mind nudging and bite-sized pieces, and actually start to then push that into the AI that's unique to the people that are coming out of your facility or that are in your care. So this isn't like a CBT app like Breaking Free Online or Silver Cloud, you know, where it's like put your data in and get your data out. And no, this is unique to each organization and to each individual. And what I would say is, you know, just hook us up. We'll take you through it in more detail. We'd love to. We are the sum of all of our parts, right? So we value feedback. Feedback accelerates, you know, the benefits that we can deliver. So the more people that are interested, you know, the more people we can get pilot in it. We certainly know that we don't get everything right first time. So we need to evolve, which to the beauty of technology. We take the feedback, we take the feedback from customers, we take the feedback from the platform, but we also take the feedback from the people that we work with.
So the what do they call it? The call to action, which is get in touch and nudge us on here on LinkedIn. So it's Daniel Fincham on LinkedIn, or go to our website, which is Mind Nudger AI, or of course the Recoverlution one. Daniel, it's Recoverlution.
Recoverlution.com, yeah.
Yeah.
What we will also do is, so this was recorded. Actually, Fee, if you just want to go to the next page, because I think it would be good just to finish with this slide. So, actually, we'll bypass this one because I'm just conscious of time. But all I would say is that again, this isn't a one-fits-all model. There's endless use cases that you can use this for. But really where we want to help is to save time, save money, and improve the efficiency of internal resources. At the same time, obviously, I built this platform for people like me in recovery, so this improves the patient well-being. I would love to have had something like this, whether it was, you know, having something that would look after my well-being and, you know, my mental state when I left my facilities. But that's for me, but for you guys, it's going to add value to what you offer, and collectively, we will start to understand the journey of people in recovery, and that's something that we can all start to use. And for yourselves, it's something that you can really boast about because it's going to improve your success rate. So yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Can I add one thing about analytics and data, even though we've just gone over the 30 minutes? Is the thing is about providing any service in this day and age with exponential change is, if we try or endeavour to do this on a mass scale without analytics, and that cannot, you know, what can't be measured is very, very difficult to place down and improve. So the AI analytics becomes extremely important, but it also becomes a massive benefit because you can demonstrate the growth and change and results, and you can see when things are improving. So I think that's a massive difference of being able to integrate into sort of more linear services that still need to be there, being able to add the service results to the digital ones and really blend those things together. And I think that is incredibly powerful moving forward. So that's me done.
Brilliant. Yeah, so just to thank everybody, like I say, this has been recorded. What we will do is, there was 258 registrants on this webinar, which is brilliant. We will send a message to every one of you on LinkedIn to follow up with, you know, anything that we think that we didn't add. We can add the slides, we can add the recording, and then you've got our details if you want to follow up. Yeah, would love to get some feedback from you guys. If there's anything that you thought we missed, or if you think we're talking rubbish, you know, any type of feedback would be great. Because yeah, we are, you know, we're here to start changing the game. You know, that's what we want to do. We want to start saving people's lives, and we know technology. That's about, you know, that's our skill set. So that's where we apply ourselves. So with that,
thank you very much, Daniel.
Say goodbye.
Thank you everyone who's sort of listening live or on the recording. So lovely to meet you all, and hopefully speak soon. Thanks, Daniel.
Cheers. Bye.